Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am just one of your hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mock.
And welcome to the half-hour radio program that airs every Sunday on 104.5 The Flame at 10 a.m. But also, during a pandemic, we actually have come into the WLX studio, our great partner with the St. Lucie Public Schools, to broadcast this show, not only on radio, but also on all their broadcasts, including YouTube. If you want to find out what these faces look like, look up WLX TV. Now, we at the Children's Services Council, despite doing a radio show every week, we are not professional radio show or TV hosts. But what we do at the Children's Services Council for our community is 5 things. And those 5 things are: 1, to make sure every baby's a healthy baby. 2, to stop child abuse before it happens. 3, to keep kids off the streets. 4, to keep them in school. And 5, keep them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors by offering programs and resources for all families in our community. And we spend this time together to inform you, the listener and the viewer, about a resource that you can utilize for your loved ones, your neighbors, your friends, families, and coworkers.
I had to count with you. Did you see me counting? I have to keep track of you.
We're in a studio in a COVID-free, and we are kind of far apart. So I was not watching you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. I was counting just to keep track of you anyway. There's 5 priority areas. You have to get all of them. You did a good job. So outside of this show, there's a couple different ways that you can learn more about Children's Services Council and our programs. And the best way is on our website, which is cscslc.org. It's kind of a fun time on our website right now, I feel like, because we've got a lot of things that we're sharing there, including all things 30th anniversary. So this month, we've been talking a lot about our 30th anniversary, how long we've been here in the community, and the support that we've gotten from great community partners. So our website has a lot of that information, fun videos, fun pictures from our friends. So it's a good time to kind of pop over there and learn about that. And you can also get contact information for all of the programs that we work with throughout the community in those areas that Sean talked about.
I had to smile because you said it's a fun time to be at our website. And of all the things I've heard to describe our website, fun is not one of them. But it is very informative.
There are some fun videos that we got from community partners that are posted there.
And we're also on Facebook.
We are on Facebook.
So those people that are on social media, for the older people, we're on Facebook. For the younger, cool people, we're on Instagram. For Snapchat, we're out. We're not on Snapchat, but we are on Instagram and even Twitter. But I do want to say real quickly about our anniversary. So October 2nd, 1990 is when this community voted to make children a priority by establishing a Children's Services Council. We're very proud of that.
We are.
Not only because we work there, but we've seen the difference and the impact it's had on the community when the whole community in one voice says that children is a priority. But I say all that because for our anniversary, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a graphic. It's the word community with our little guy holding the balloon as the eye, because, you know, we're creative that way. And then a line, and then community underneath it. And the message is community over everything. Community over everything, sorry. Community over everything. And I say that because when we celebrate our anniversary, we are not celebrating our anniversary to say, look what we as an organization have done. It's more of, as a community, saying, look what we have done together. Business, faith, nonprofits, parents, families, those engaged in making this community better. Look what we've done collectively together by, again, making children the #1 priority.
Yeah, and I was actually having a conversation with someone not too long ago about there are other children's services councils throughout the state, and we're very close to them. We have lots of conversation with them and how they work in their community, but I really feel like our community is special, and the partnerships that we've been able to form, the relationship that we have with the business community and other government agencies, this just doesn't happen everywhere. And I think it gives us a really good time to appreciate the work that's being done by all of our partners together, but also to really identify that this is special and we should be proud of it and we should celebrate it all the time. And so I think that's kind of what our purpose was in doing that community over everything. It's not just us, it's all of us.
Right. And while we celebrate where we've been and where we've gone, we know that there's much more work to do. And the best part is we're going to do it together.
That's right.
All right, so before we get to our guests, we have a couple of announcements.
You brought props?
I brought props.
So fun. You can't share your screen on Zoom right now.
I'm like the Gallagher of public access television. So I'm going to smash a watermelon here in a minute. So real quick, we have fun on this show. So real quick, we've talked about it on our radio show every single week, and we want to make sure that we make it a specific point of emphasis as we're back in the WLX studio is that we have partnered with St. Lucie County and the St. Lucie Public Schools, along with all of our after-school providers, to have something called Learning Launchpad. So if you, the viewer, if your child or grandchild has chosen virtual learning and you're at home and they're sitting in front of the laptop and maybe you're having some struggles because maybe it's a little bit more than what you thought it was going to be, or maybe you have to run out because of work and you're not comfortable leaving your child, or quite frankly, maybe your Wi-Fi is not that good and your child is freezing all the time on Teams or can't get connection. We have 15 sites across the whole community, north, east, south, west. I think I did all those directions
all
right.
The ones.
And we have 450 slots, of which I believe about 180 are currently still available, where you can send your child during the day when they're supposed to be virtual learning in a safe 1-to-9 ratio, fully masked, fully sanitized, safe place, breakfast and lunch provided, and it is for free for those families that qualify. And it's a really simple qualification.
It is. It's very easy. All the information is available on our website. There's a full list of all the locations that are participating. The application is there. There are special slots available for anyone who is the child of what is deemed an essential worker. That list is also available on the website. So there's a ton of information that you can find there. We've also been sharing this information on Facebook. So if you see this graphic on Facebook, you can click there and get to the website for more information. But we anticipate that this program will last through at least the end of the year, at least through the end of 2020. So there is still time to get your child enrolled there. It is a great opportunity to have them with youth development professionals during the day while they're completing their schoolwork.
And I want to make a point of emphasis, because every time somebody says, oh, there's an application, I have to qualify, it's like, oh, I probably won't qualify, or what a hassle it's going to be. There's two ways to qualify, and they're both very generous. One is you're an essential employee. If you're an essential employee, you can choose from the 270 slots that are available at the Boys and Girls Club. Again, north, south, east, west, all throughout the community. But an essential employee, and we have the definition on our website, it is anybody that works for a government organization, anybody that works for a hospital, anybody that works in hospitality, anybody that works in retail, anybody that works in construction. Are you getting the idea that pretty much, by the definition, almost nearly every employee or every job is considered an essential employee? But even if you don't fit that way and you're like, okay, Sean, I'm not an essential employee, will I still qualify? It is based on your household income, and it is 120% of the median area's income. And you're like, Sean, what does that mean? I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that, for example, and the guideline is on our website, you could be a family of 4 and make $83,000 and still qualify.
Yeah.
All you have to do is show proof of residence, which is usually just a driver's license or a utility bill. And if you're not an essential employee, you have to provide a pay stub or two or some verification of your income. But I promise you, if you're thinking, if I'm on the fence and I don't know if I'm going to qualify, we think the majority of the families are going to be able to qualify.
And it's very simple, and the programs are helping families complete that application. So there really aren't barriers to getting that service. It's a really good opportunity. Those programs are also providing after-school care. So once the school day is done, the kids can stay for the rest of the afternoon. It's been a really great program, and we're hoping to get all of those slots filled.
And we have two mentions before we move off this topic. One, breakfast and lunch are served for free, thanks to the St. Lucie Public Schools, and the whole thing is free.
Yeah, free. We like free.
So Ashley, we have a great guest with us. A socially distanced studio.
You're throwing me, literally throwing the mic to me. We do have a great guest with us today. I mentioned that October is our 30th anniversary, but October is also National Bullying Prevention Month. We have a great program here locally that talks to our students about that while they're in school, among many other things. A great community partner of ours through New Horizons of the Treasure Coast. So we're really lucky to have Casey Wood with us today, who is the program manager for the Student Assistance Program through New Horizons. We were chatting a little bit before we got started. My 5th grader is currently getting the Student Assistance Program curriculum in school. So I have been learning along with her all the things that she's been coming home with. So
as a surprise, we brought her with us. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll quiz her.
She would love that. Really.
I heard, Casey, you're a little nervous. So I just want to point out that they think I have COVID because I'm the farthest one away from all of you.
That's not true. Not
We just
true.
need to be safe.
I'm just trying to be safe. So, Casey, for anybody who doesn't know, I know New Horizons does so many things. We certainly don't have enough time to cover all the things. But give us kind of a quick overview of what New Horizons' role is in the community, and kind of then the student assistance program and what you guys actually do for students.
Well, we serve the community from prevention all the way to intervention, inpatient services, and things of that nature. Our program is a prevention program. So we're on the opposite end of our inpatient services. We're trying to prevent the trauma from happening. We're trying to prevent major mental health issues, or again, trauma from those issues. We're trying to prevent substance abuse. We deal with people from, very small children all the way to, 99 plus, I guess. We have programs for children and adults. Our program is primarily kindergarten through 8th grade, although during summers we are in after school care providers or summer camps. And so during those times we are working with high schoolers at times, but primarily what we provide is services to kindergarten through 8th graders.
So Ashley touched upon it. Your service, your program hits every single 5th grader.
Yes.
So can you talk to us about if anybody watching or listening and they have a 5th grader and they probably are starting to go through it, what is covered, what to expect, and kind of like what are the outcomes, if you will?
Yeah. So in St. Lucie County, we have a contract with the school district to provide Too Good for Drugs in all 5th grade classrooms. All of the public schools, the charter schools, we usually provide the service to, but they're able to opt in or out depending on their needs. But in the public schools, we're in every 5th grade classrooms providing the Too Good for Drugs curriculum, which is a 10-week evidence-based curriculum that hits on various skills that have been proven to decrease the risks of using drugs. So it's not just say no, it's not just this is why you don't want to smoke tobacco. It's not just focused on that. It's focused on skills like goal setting, decision making, communication skills. I tell the kids anytime I teach it that I'm learning as much as they are. Every time I teach it, I learn something. And that's something that I really think is important for the families and the kids to understand, is that this isn't just for kids or families that are on the brink of substance use. It's for everyone. There's something for everyone to learn.
And because you serve every 5th grader, it's really, not an option, right? You said, I'm sorry, I say that because you said, every child doesn't have to be like on the cusp of using it. Every 5th grader in our community gets this.
Right.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
And I have found, my kids are older, but I have found, and this is a little parenting tip for everybody, just telling them no never works.
Oh, no.
So,
No.
I think every parent and grandparent fully realizes that. I just wanted to point out the obvious.
Yes.
Sure. Well, and one of the things that I do really like about the program is the positive sort of skew. Like, just say no, all that, the old school way, that's what I was taught in school.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems a little negative, and really working with them on setting goals and making sure that they're able to achieve them and that they have all of the skills that they need to be able to achieve them is a much more positive outlook on it. And it seems like it's more successful for them as well.
And it gives them a bigger focus than just on drugs bad. It's
Right.
more of what do I want to do with my life?
Right.
How do I accomplish them? How do I set that path forward? And it's so important that you get obviously early, right?
Yes.
Some people may be saying 5th grade. That seems way too early.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's
no, it's not.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think that's a comment that we've received before from people out in the community when we talk about this program or other programs that are administered to kids who seem young. And really that was feedback that we received from you guys in the schools, who said, look, we were doing this in middle school and it's too late in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get to them earlier. And 5th grade really has been a good sort of position for that message.
And actually, the Mendez Foundation that created the curriculum has curriculum for every grade level, K through 12. So, in kindergarten, you're not teaching about marijuana. You're teaching about, the social skills that they need, making healthy choices and things like that. And, the research shows that if kids are just told about the risks, it almost pushes them in that direction, because it's like, well, that's not going to happen to me, or, they just want to see what will actually happen. And instead, when you set them on a good path, when you teach them how to set goals for themselves and how to make healthier choices, they're on a path that's going to prevent them from ever wanting to make those choices, because then they know that's not going to benefit me as I work toward whatever goal I've set for myself.
Yeah.
So you're in the classroom for every fifth grader, Too Good for Drugs, which is too awesome. Sorry, couldn't help myself, folks. But you mentioned that you serve kindergarten through 8th grade.
Correct.
So talk to us about what are those services that you provide. Particularly, I was intrigued when you said kindergarten. I was just curious to what do those services look like, and are those in the school system as well?
Yes, they are. This school year's been a little different.
That's my follow-up question.
Yes. So we have 3 different curricula that we use. Too Good for Drugs, obviously. Too Good for Violence, which was also created by the Mendez Foundation. And then Bachmann Life Skills Training. Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence are K through 12, but again, we serve K through 8. And Bachmann Life Skills Training is 3rd through 12th grade. I find that Bachmann Life Skills Training is kind of a combination of Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence, because it focuses on a lot of the same skills, but it starts at 3rd grade because there is information about substances in each, or toward the end of the curriculum. So they want to make sure that that's age appropriate. In kindergarten, we're doing a lot of, like I said, social skill building. Kindergarten through 2nd grade, we use puppets for the kids. And
I've been trying to do that.
I know.
I've been trying to do that for the show
I'll
for
bring
years.
our friends next time. and the kids love. I mean, they don't even notice the prevention specialist at that grade level. They just want to see their friend Tuggles or their friend Wagner, and so
I like it.
Community connections with Tuggles and Wagner coming up soon.
But Too Good for Violence is focused more on healthy relationships, conflict resolution skills. There is a heavy focus on bullying prevention and just building strong, solid relationships, how to work through. And we teach kids that conflicts don't mean that you're in a fight. It means that you have a different position than somebody else. And so teaching them to look at conflict in a different way than just, it's just that we have a problem to solve, not that we are, arguing and fighting and things of that nature. And then teaching them how to resolve that conflict in positive ways is probably something that a lot of adults could use too.
I was going to say, do you offer that to adults? Because I feel like there are some people that could use that. I do like what you said though, because I feel like there's days where my daughter has come home and said she got into a fight with someone at school. And I'm like, what do you mean you got into a fight with someone at school? But she didn't mean that. They were having a disagreement about something. They had a differing opinion about it. And I think that's an important distinction for them, because that's a hard thing to learn.
Yes.
And if we can teach them that young enough, then maybe we could solve some problems.
You need to, words of wisdom, you need to say, you didn't have a fight, you had a conflict.
You did.
Yes.
Which was a disagreement.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Gonna work on
one to grow on. I'm curious. So for the kindergarten through 8th grade, so then you're actually in the classroom then kindergarten through 8th grade. I always thought you were just 5th grade only, learning something new every day. But you're obviously going into the classrooms with all the kindergartners too.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's good. So I think all the viewers and listeners, if you have children in the home, ask them what do you refer to it in the school system as?
The Student Assistance Program.
The Student Assistance Program.
Miss Casey.
So you brought up, we brought you in the studio, our first time back in the studio since I think February, but it's so important.
I feel so honored.
Because Ashley mentioned October is
Bullying Prevention Month.
Bullying Prevention Month. I knew it wasn't Bullying Month. Bullying Prevention Month. So for our viewers, grandparents and parents, what would you want them to know about bullying, and or to what signs are there to perhaps if their child is being bullied? Because that's a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for a while, and I know there's different definitions of bullying, but we know, you talked about old school when it was just say no. Old school was bullying at school and on the bus.
And then you were done.
And then you were done.
Yeah.
Now bullying, because of social media, can really happen 24 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think there are some limitations with our program in that, because what we do is school-based, we do work one-on-one with some students that have been identified as having an increased number of risk factors, and in that case, we are working more with the family. We call home and let them know what's going on and all of that. But I think from that perspective, a lot of that has to start at home. Teaching the kids how to handle conflict, those same skills, how to handle conflict, how to communicate with others without it becoming an actual fight, how to treat others well, and they have to see that modeled by the parents too. They need to see the adults in the home speaking kindly to each other and speaking kindly to other people. I think it's really important to monitor social media. I feel like we're continuing to see problems as younger and younger kids are getting their hands on social media and technology and all of that. And, there's a lot of independence that comes from having that in their hands, but there's also a lot of consequences. And so, I don't believe that it's getting too much into their personal space or their privacy to be monitoring those things, because there are so many severe and honestly life-altering consequences for good, potentially, if that's not being monitored.
I haven't broke this one out in a while because my kids are older. My kids are, let me make sure I get this right because I always mess it up, 20 and 23. That's what happens when they get older, you just forget. But growing up, when they got cell phones, and they got cell phones because they took the bus, and sometimes they're at the bus by themselves, so we wanted to make sure. And you've heard me tell the story, is I gave them the phone, but I kept the charger. And I said, if you want your phone charged, your phone has to get returned to me. And I'm not going to lie, we found some inappropriate stuff being done on the phone, and had we not checked, it could have been potentially disastrous. So I do say, parents, you have to be active. I'm not saying you have to, go over the top, but be aware that, unless your child is paying for that phone themselves, technically it's your phone, so maybe you should check on it every once in a while.
And I think too, I'm sorry, Casey, I think too, like there's a responsibility factor that has to be taught to our kids too, because a lot of times I find my kids saying, well, it wasn't me, I didn't do that, like I'm not responsible for that, but they are, either by their action or their inaction. And so I think that, there, like you said, there's a lot of opportunity that comes with an attachment to a device, but there are a lot of consequences that come with that too. And we have to really weigh those options with them. I think they have to be part of that conversation, because just telling them not to do it, like we said, is not going to be the thing that works.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and you also have to, as a parent, and I'm sure you know this as well, you have to stay abreast of what is social media now, because it used to just be Facebook and Instagram, and now it's Reddit and
oh my goodness,
TikTok,
I can't even keep up with
Snapchat. I just said Snap it. Snapchat.
It's probably a new one that's out there.
It probably is. Well, I do think it's important to have this conversation and to remind parents that there are resources that are there to help. So if there's a parent who's listening who maybe has identified their child as having some struggles with that, can they reach out to New Horizons as well outside of the student assistance program for help with those things? Yes,
absolutely. We have, like I said, we have therapists, we have case managers, we have even, again, as far as inpatient services. But I do think a lot of times people hear New Horizons and assume that means that their kid is going to be put in an inpatient facility, and that is a last resort. That is only done if there is a risk of harm to the child or to someone else. So definitely reach out, get the services that are needed, whether that's prevention or intervention, whatever is needed.
So the student assistance program in the school system, in the classrooms, life skills, too good for drugs, too good for violence.
Good job.
I knew that part. The kindergarten through 8th is the new one for me. I thought it was mostly just 5th, but I'm curious. Obviously, those are in group settings, right? You're serving kids, you're in the classroom, But do the school system, or do you ever work with children in smaller groups or individually that may be struggling?
We do individually. We don't do small groups because we found that it is more successful to either work with the individual child or work to help the entire classroom. Because when they're all developing the same skills, there's that positive peer pressure component that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, and it changes the culture of the classroom. We're finding when that is being reinforced by all of the other students, and especially by the teachers too. One important component of our curriculum is that the teacher is supposed to be in the classroom with the kids so that they can use the skills that the students are learning and continue to reinforce that after the 45-minute session is up.
And this
That's
might
great.
just be in the weeds. I'm just curious, is there a certain time of the year when you try to get into all the classrooms, or do you spread it out through the whole year? And I say that because if parents or grandparents are watching, they have a kindergarten through eighth grader, they could start a dialogue saying, hey, did you have the student assistance program?
Right.
And kind of reinforce it at home.
Right. Well, since the 5th grade curriculum is mandated, we do provide it in rounds. We have 1, 2, and 3 that we go throughout the school year, but that's always prioritized for scheduling. So certain schools are in round 1 and most of them have already started. Once we get round 1 scheduled, we try to go ahead and get round 2 going because those are the ones that we have to finish before the end of the school year. And then we start filling our schedules with the other classrooms as the schools see need or as it fits.
So knowing that we're like 8 feet apart right now, we're obviously in a pandemic, I'm assuming that's probably changed some of your service delivery.
Yeah.
So are you offering these classes virtually as well for those students
Yes.
that are doing the My School Online, or perhaps even Launchpad, blatant plug?
Yes, we are. So most schools have one virtual classroom. It might be a larger classroom than what we would normally be in, but we do have at least one virtual classroom per 5th grade cohort at each school. So it's been really interesting. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from my prevention specialists as far as how it's going, how accommodating the teachers have been, and how accommodating the district has been. I was not very optimistic, I'm going to be honest, about how the school year was going to go because, I mean, just when you have so many other fires to put out, scheduling Too Good for Drugs may not seem like the #1 priority, but it's gone very smoothly. We have had schools that have just welcomed us back in, and we are in person for the students that are not receiving virtual learning. And that's, we're following all the safety protocols and all of that. They're screening our prevention specialists before they go in. They're wearing masks and social distancing and all of that. But it's been interesting, and I think that it's really preparing us to be more innovative going forward. And I mean, all of us, but especially for the services that we're providing, we're really having to think outside the box.
Well, and I think big kudos to the St. Lucie Public Schools for allowing and making this a priority.
Yes.
Because you could easily argue during a pandemic,
Yeah.
Right.
and when everyone is isolated and stress factors, are, the baseline is now a 5 instead of,
Yes.
Too good for drugs and too good for violence is even more important
Right.
Yeah.
during this time. So big kudos to the St. Lucie
Yes.
schools. And I also want to thank you, as we're getting ready to sign off here, is a lot of people don't know this, but during the summer when school is out, you work a lot with the after-school program,
We do.
injecting them with the similar skills during the summer as well.
Yes.
And you did that even during a pandemic.
I was going to say
Yes.
you worked overtime.
You
this
worked
summer.
overtime to do that. So we want to thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
sincerely.
Thank you, Casey. And thank you, New Horizons. You guys have been in the community for a long time as
A
well.
long time.
Yes,
So
yes.
great partners of
I don't know
ours.
if it's your 30th anniversary, but thank you anyway. And we are out of time. It's a weekly radio program every Sunday at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Flame. And thanks to the outstanding partnership with WLX TV, St. Louis Public Schools, it's a once-a-month television program. We'll be back next time. Remember, it's our children, our community, our future. Now more than ever, folks, we're all in this together. We'll see you next time.